Before we talk about this price drop today from this morning and how you could have actually made some money from it, I want to talk about something really significant. So before you get to the trading desk, right, before you start basically trying to take any trades, as I like to say, customarily, the first thing you always want to do is check the economic calendar. This will give you a lot of insights. And as you can see right here, you can see that from early in the morning, you can pretty much see there was a lot of red information. Red hot basically means really significant. This is forexfactory.com, not sponsored or anything like that. It's just what I still use today. And you can see there was a lot of insights coming out of Europe this morning. So when you couple that with what we're basically about to look at the chart, I'd always recommend, just as a basic, you basically understand and make sure you check the economic calendar before you basically make any decisions. All right, cool. So now let's basically get into the charts and see what you could have done so far this morning and what's potentially on the table before the markets close for the weekend. All right, cool. So you can already see, first and foremost, if you've opened up your charts and you basically got to a point now where you are looking at charts, you've looked at your economic calendar, you've kind of scheduled that and seen, okay, cool, these are the things that are basically scheduled today, these are the things that may potentially affect my trade. How do we now make sense of this? We've looked at fundamentals, now we want to look at the technicals, right, and kind of merge them and marry them together. So this is the euro yen, as you can basically see right here, right, the euro yen. We're looking at a 15-minute window as it particularly stands right now, and ultimately you've seen pretty much from going back to yesterday afternoon, price was basically topping out in this particular region, and subsequently as price continued to side step, right, we eventually get the next leg in this move down, right, to this region down here pretty much. So from 125.50, as you can see, all the way down to pretty much 124.50. How many pips is that? We're talking about 100 pips, right? Now, I'm not going to guarantee, you can never guarantee results for anyone, just for the record. But one thing I'll say is, ultimately, as you get better and better at understanding the markets, just basic things like this, right? This isn't even rocket science. Just understanding, looking at the market. This is just going back a couple of days, and you can see most of the chart activity going back to 12 p.m. on the 19th, right? So you're talking about 2 to 3 days here, and you can see that price has just been gradually moving down, and in the midst of what price has been doing, you can see, you just begin to see tops, right? But more so, you can see price is just gradually going sideways before continuing on a move down. And then yesterday afternoon it was no different, right? Price continued to stay in this region, and then eventually it just continues moving down, right? So we talked about 100 pips, and one thing I'll say is, if you are not becoming habitual at doing these things I'm showing you, this is just one currency, just for the record, right? It doesn't take long to just observe the market, have a bit of patience, which is very key in regards to Forex success, and just looking, okay, cool, where is the market looking like it does not want to go above or below, and finding these opportunities to potentially find sell positions and basically put your stop losses on if that's how you're going to trade. I still recommend that today, to basically trade with a stop loss. And then it becomes looking for targets. You can go back to the day before, or you can look at earlier. Okay, cool. So previously price moved to this particular region, so we'll say, okay, cool. If you're looking for a sell position, this is basically a 40 pip window between here, right, and down here. So you've got at least 40 pips to play with in this particular scenario, right? So as long as you can get an entry in this kind of region, which would be about 10 pips, to hit down here would be about 30 pips. And that's how I kind of go from my perspective, right? At least 3 to 1, right? So if you can get 10 pips, you need at least 3 times more, right? So if this is going to be a 10 pip stop loss potentially, right here, you're in the business in regards to 3 to 1, right? Or as those that want to keep this completely correct, as they say, 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio, etc. But the fact of the matter is, this is just one potential opportunity really that stems from yesterday afternoon. And the reason I'll continue to stress this is about patience, right? If you're not going to be patient when you're watching, okay, cool, and I talk about this all the time. If you want to check some of our live streams from this year, you can do that as one. See, this is the same thing over and over again. You see a huge drop. Okay, cool. Now don't start chasing the market in this particular region. No, wait to see what price does before, as it potentially goes back in the reverse scenario, and then you try and jump on the bandwagon. So you're going to be patient, and you're going to watch, and maybe you won't get this one. Most likely you won't get this one, and that's fine, because really and truly you're just waiting to see where the market can open up for you specifically, right? So as price comes back, now the question marks becomes, okay, cool, is price going to hold? Well, in this scenario it did, right? It dropped, didn't go all the way. Potentially you could have been in a trade here. Cool, right? This could be potentially one trade, and you'll notice this, even if you lose, it doesn't matter. Why? Because if price comes back, right, and if you've got your stop loss in this kind of region, right, maybe you get stopped out here, right? Maybe. Even if you did get stopped out here, what would happen? So maybe you might have got tightly knocked out. People say you got stop hunted, right? And then what happens? You see price moves back down again. Okay, cool. And price comes back up, all right? So both times, if you did get stopped out here, why wouldn't you take at least one more trade in this region? Because it's still low risk, right? And then what happens? Now you get a drop to here. If you're going for an even longer term opportunity, maybe you're looking at some of the higher time frames. Just because you may have potentially lost one trade, maybe, just for the record, right, in that particular region, what is to say you didn't get in here, right? And this is going into just different additional technical analysis, which can kind of help you understand this even more so. But this is how, just looking at one trade opportunity, going back to yesterday afternoon, and having a key ingredients in regards to trading success, which is patience. We talk about this all the time. We've got a link in the description box. I'll post it in the description box if you want to get a free Forex toolkit. If you want to learn more about Forex trading, that will definitely help you. This is one currency. Before we wrap up, you can already see, just by looking at charts for about 5 to 10 minutes, doing a little bit of analysis, and I'm not even talking about this video, I'm talking about just yesterday, right? If you're going to be patient and look at this stuff as it's happening in real time, you can be patient enough to say, okay, cool, I don't need to rush anything. This is where I want to sell from. You're looking at, so far in the aftermath, it's 100 pips. At bare minimum, just by looking at technicals, you could have had business ultimately within a 30 pip profit, 40 pip window ultimately, right? So these are the kind of ways you need to basically look at the market. One last thing I'll show you about this particular currency chart as well. You can look, we've basically switched from the 15-minute view now to the daily view, right, of the euro yen, and you can see this is just one piece of advice, one little piece of example, how we're basically setting ourselves up in advance to look for those kind of sell positions on the market. You can see for the whole week pretty much, what's price been doing? Price has been moving down, right? So the fact of the matter is, as price is signaling to you through the week, that provides you with an opportunity to kind of position yourself for a really decent opportunity. Now, like I said, the powerful thing about this is we're only talking about one currency. There's hundreds of currencies out there, and although I don't advise you to literally spend your day scouring through hundreds of charts, it's really easy, or a lot more accessible, a lot more feasible for you to take about a handful of currencies and to scour through those currencies and look at what the market's actually doing. Ultimately, we can't guarantee what the market does because we don't have that insider information. I'm not an insider trader. I'm most likely, like you, a retail trader, which basically trades from home with your own money. The fact of the matter is, though, what I want you to always understand and be mindful of is you want to put yourself in a position where you can always protect your trading investment. Ultimately, if this is money you are working for and earning for yourself, don't just throw it away based on emotion. Look at what the markets are actually doing and try and plan things ahead of time and prepare yourself so you're not literally caught unawares, focused on just emotion and things like that. So definitely, if you like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hit the like button, and I'll leave some links in the description box to other videos on the channel that will probably be beneficial to you, so you can see more about how we actually trade the markets. And most likely what's looking like is going to happen is the market's most likely going to continue to move down on the euro yen, right? Or the market is most likely may just move sideways. The fact of the matter is, we don't know necessarily for a fact what the market's going to do. This is why it's important to make decisions ahead of time or look at things without being emotional. If you want to learn more about how to trade the Forex markets, I'll leave a link in the description box, again, just like I said previously, to our free Forex toolkit. that's a great beginner resource that can help you understand the Forex markets for yourself and understand different things you can use to actually make money trading the Forex markets. Thanks and take care, and I'll see you in the next one.